Hello and welcome to another episode of This Week in the Tech News that is, again, almost primarily about Nvidia, because lately they've been hogging the spotlight like an insecure teenager. The first story today is about Nvidia trying to destroy AMD finally underneath its mighty destructive hooves. Well, I mean, we don't really know if that's what's happening, but that's what seems to be going on. Now, in the beginning of the week, Nvidia announced GPP, which means Graphics or Geforce Partnership Program. And what this is they went to their add-in board partners, people like Asus, Zotac, and Gigabyte, who sell Nvidia gaming graphics cards under their own brand. And they announced this new program to them about how they're gonna change the way in which they sell Nvidia graphics cards to consumers. So now, initially when this GPP was announced, basically what it was that Nvidia's partners, these like Asus and Gigabyte and so on, would get great benefits from joining. They'd get earlier access to hardware, they'd get better game bundling, they'd get like assistance for spreading their brand on social media and all kinds of things that are very important for a sub-brand like Gigabyte and Asus to have. And this doesn't seem too terrible because all you do is you sign up to the GPP and then you're fine. But if you don't sign up to it, you're not going to do very well with Nvidia graphics cards. Now, in the kind of social media release around the GPP, Nvidia was talking about how this partnership program is an attempt to make everything more transparent. And the word transparent they use like 20 times through the press release. They want all their consumers to know exactly what graphics card they're buying and exactly what the Nvidia experience is that they're buying into. Now, this all seems fine, right? This actually seems great. Making it clear to a consumer what it is that they're buying is always good, right? But this whole thing became a lot more dodgy when an article came out that revealed some secret term that add-in board partners had to adhere to in order to become part of this graphics card partnership program. And it seems that they're very, very anti-competition, because essentially what they said was that add-in board partners can no longer sell AMD graphics cards alongside Nvidia graphics cards under the same gaming sub-brand. So essentially it means that these companies can't sell AMD graphics cards anymore, or at least that's how it was interpreted. And everybody got really, really angry about that, because of course they got angry about it, because if add-in board partners don't sell AMD graphics cards anymore, it just means that it's going to be really difficult to get your hands on AMD graphics cards. They're going to have no known branding around them, and it's all going to be really weird. But then there was another article released talking about how the first article was kind of information that was brought to the publisher by AMD, so therefore it's definitely not true, which I don't know how I feel about that, because Nvidia has brought news to publications about AMD's kind of bad deeds in the marketplace before, and it turned out to be true. So just because it's the competition saying that this terrible thing is being done to them doesn't necessarily mean that it isn't. But the article continued to say that actual clause saying that add-in board partners can't sell AMD graphics cards anymore was misunderstood, and essentially what it meant was that they can't sell AMD graphics cards very closely linked to Nvidia graphics cards. So for example, if you're selling a Strix graphics card, you can't have an Nvidia Strix graphics card and an AMD Strix graphics card. You have to split the brands off a little bit so that it's very clear to the consumer that this brand is an Nvidia brand and this brand is an AMD brand. The thing is, this seems a little bit less kind of dangerous, right? It seems a little bit less anti-competitive, but it isn't. Because if you're aligning Nvidia with one of your sub-brands, like, let's use Asus for example, like Republic of Gamers. If you link it with Republic of Gamers, it means that you potentially can't sell AMD graphics cards under the Republic of Gamers brand anymore, which is terrible for AMD, because the Republic of Gamers brand, or Aorus from Gigabyte, or many of these brands, they're very well known, and people buy graphics cards from these specific sub-brands because, you know, they've been shown over the years of the brand being around to be really good gaming products. If you're not going to be able to sell AMD graphics cards under that brand anymore, you're going to have to develop a new brand. a new sub-brand under Asus to sell AMD graphics cards on. And this sub-brand isn't going to have nearly the recognizability that something like Republic of Gamers or Aorus does. And it takes a long time to build a brand like that out properly. So I still think that even if that's the explanation, it isn't a good one at all, and this is still all very terrible. Let's see what happens though. There isn't a huge amount of information around this. Nvidia hasn't officially commented yet, so we don't really know what's going on at this point. But let me know in the comments below what you think of this story. If you think that Nvidia is being evil, or they're just trying to kind of make it easier for consumers to decide whether to buy an Nvidia or an AMD graphics card. And then, continuing on the kind of Nvidia stream, but this is more positive actually. Nvidia has recently announced that they've actually noticed a slowdown in demand for GPUs from the mining sector, and what they're going to do is when the kind of new batch of graphics cards come out from production, they're essentially going to put a lot of stopgaps into place so that miners can't just buy all of them again. So hopefully that means that GPU prices might start stabilizing soon. Maybe, fingers crossed, let's hope it's going to stabilize soon. And with that, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back next week with another episode of This Week in the Tech News. Hopefully, let's just really hope it's not about Nvidia, but it's probably going to be because the story is going to expand further. So it's probably just going to be a continuation of how Nvidia is trying to destroy AMD and how AMD is trying to destroy AMD with vulnerabilities. And just in the end of the day, we're not going to have AMD left, unfortunately. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.